Recording in progress.
Welcome, everybody, to tonight's special meeting, November 21st at 6 p.m. I'll now call this meeting to order, and I'll ask the clerk to please read the roll.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Here.
Councilmember Goethals.
Here.
Councilmember Lee is absent due to a vacation. Deputy Mayor Pappen.
Here.
Mayor Bonilla.
Here. Thank you very much. So we are excited to be here in person with options for those who choose not to be in person and still participate virtually. Thank all of you for being here in person tonight, though. There are several ways to participate if you are virtual. If you're here, actually. Complete a yellow speaker slip, which is, I think, at the back of the room, and hand it to the clerk. Oh, they're on the desk right in front of the clerk. I'm sorry. These things move around from time to time. So please fill that out and hand it to the clerk if you wish to speak on any item under this special meeting. If participating remotely, please use the raise your hand feature in Zoom and you'll be called on at the appropriate time. If calling in via telephone, press *9 to raise your hand, and when called upon, press *6 to unmute. These options for public comment will remain available until I close the public comment period for each specific item. So the first item tonight is the process for filling a city council vacancy. And I think we'll have a presentation from the city clerk.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. So the City Council Member Pappen has submitted her resignation letter from the City Council with an effective date of December 4th, 2022. Due to her election to the
December 4th.
I think you said November 4, but you meant December 4.
I'm sorry, I will enunciate better. Thank you.
Thank you.
December 4th, 2022, due to her election to the Assembly. This vacancy is for a 2-year short term to fulfill the remainder of Councilmember Pappen's at-large term through December 2nd, 2024. Note for the record that Council Districts 2 and 4 will be up for election in 2024. Section 2.08 of the city's charter provides that a city council vacancy shall be filled by appointment by the council, and such an appointment must be completed within a 30-day time limit, which would be Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023 in this instance. The charter further provides that if the appointment is not made within this period, the appointment shall be made by the mayor. The charter does not prescribe a procedure for selecting a successor. There have been 5 city council vacancies over the last 24 years, and a variety of methods have been used, including awarding to the next highest vote getter if there was a recent council election, soliciting letters of interest from members of the public and making decisions based on that, or an application process and presentation and a council formal vote. Because of the short timeline and that we're right up against the holidays, the current council is being asked to determine the method for appointment. The newly seated council, which will be sworn in on December 5th, will carry on the defined process and will be the decision-making body for the appointment. We have scheduled a tentative meeting for December 12th, that's Monday, December 12th, for an appointment process if that is the direction given by City Council tonight on the process. Staff is going to seek direction on the desired process, any elements of the submittals and/or presentations that may be required, any changes needed to the application, and for the record, we had received about 15 letters requesting that the district be added, what district an applicant is currently living in be added to the application, and scheduling additional meetings as may be required if additional meetings are thought to be needed. So that's the basic presentation. All the information is in front of you in the packet. There was a timing matrix in there also, and we're available to answer questions and receive public comment.
Madam Clerk, should we have some council questions, I believe, first? Yes. Council questions? Deputy Mayor?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, we have no questions. We have no questions. Let's go to the public comment.
Okay, I have 3 speakers in the house, inside the audience here, and 1 with a hand raised in the Zoom environment. Now 2, so I'm going to invite you, if you have not turned in your speaker slip, please give that to me right now in the room. We will call on the council chambers speakers first. On the Zoom call, this is your moment to raise your hand. Please raise your hand if you would like to speak on this item, because we want to make sure that we can get an appropriate amount of time for the speakers who wish to speak. I'll give you another moment to do that. Please raise your hand in Zoom if you intend to speak. Okay, thank you. At this time, I'm seeing 6 hands raised in Zoom, and I have 4 speaker slips in person, so 10 speakers in all, Mr. Mayor.
10 speakers in all. Let's go with 3 minutes each. You do not have to use all of your 3 minutes. If you sent a letter already, please just brief us on it. Thank you.
The last speaker on Zoom will be Regina Trapp. Thank you very much. Okay, the first speaker here is Marina Godfrey. Please come up to the microphone. One moment while I make sure.
Good evening.
Just a moment.
Good evening. It's really, I want to start by just saying that it's really hard to imagine that I won't see all of these faces, soon. And I want to thank you for your many years of service to San Mateo. So I am Mareva Godfrey, and I have been a resident of San Mateo for 41 years, and 22 of those in the Los Prados area of District 4. And I am here just simply to, advocate for the application to reflect the changes to by-district elections of City Council, and to include that the applicant must, either by a question or a blank, indicate what district they live in. And what they're representing. And I think that within this selection, even though I understand it is at large and at the discretion of the City Council, there's just an inherent great opportunity, timely opportunity to embrace the fact that we're now in by-district process and, give notion to fair and equitable representation of all the districts. And so that's what I'm requesting, and thank you for changing that application if it doesn't already include that. That's it. Thank you very much, and I wish you all very happy holidays.
Thank you. The next speaker is Stu Bruins.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to address you. Everything this lady just said, except that I've been living east of 101 for 37 years, and I would like to have a little more representation in the council. Please include the address of the candidates when you do the application.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Elian Dimitri.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I am a newer resident of the San Mateo City, only 6 years. And I'm here to support the same amendment that the previous 2 residents have asked for. I would like to ask you to include the district of all applicants, to a new position on the city council. I believe that all District 4 citizens are longing for representation. Thank you and happy holidays.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is Michael Reagan.
How are you doing tonight? As this young lady had spoken up, I almost forgot to say how, your representation for the last many years, many of you, I know I haven't agreed with a lot of what you guys have said, and probably said some things that, but I do appreciate, and I think all the cities should, say thank for your time. I know it's a lot of time and effort that you guys have put in, and I really want to say, want to thank you for your hard work. I know that it's going to be all these different people up here next time, but you guys done a heck of a job, and you run the city pretty good. We're doing pretty good, and I hope you guys pursue some interesting things in the future. So thank you for your time served. Getting back to the topic, I agree that representation, but a couple of things. Mrs. Pappen represented an at-large when she ran. And I do believe that to elect somebody from a district that hasn't been represented, I think it's District 4, would probably be a disadvantage to the person that, it's only a 2-year term, maybe a disadvantage for the person that's running the next time that wants to possibly get into it. So it could be kind of a disadvantage for the people that want to come out of that district in the future. You had mentioned the fact that sometimes it's voted in that the person that has the most votes from this recent election, and I think under the circumstances, I won't get into it, but I do believe that Rodland and Harris should be given a consideration. I haven't talked to them about it. I'm not up here representing them. I just think that it would be something that you should look into. I think he's a deserved candidate, and like I said, I haven't talked to him. I'm not sure his stance, if he would be interested, but I do think he would be a real plus for the city council, and I know the people in our district think he would represent us in a positive way, because there's going to be a lot of things happening within our district that's going to be very challenging, and that's my 2 cents, but thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our first Zoom speaker is Pete Yatrakis.
Yes, can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
I'm Pete Yatrakis. I've lived in San Mateo for 42 years. I've also served on the city of San Mateo as a commissioner on the senior commission, and I live in District 4. I echo the request to add the question about where a person resides on the application. I believe that's one of the things that needs to be considered, especially since from what knowledge I've had, we haven't had much representation from the east side of 101. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Karen Moen.
Yes, my name is Karen Moen. I live at 1056 Shoreline Drive in San Mateo. I've been a resident since 1986. I also would like to thank you all for your service and wish you well as you undertake new endeavors. I strongly support adding the question about what district a person is applying from. The next election in November 2024, taking office in December 2027 December 2024 is a timeline that is 2 years away. With all of the issues facing those of us that reside in District 4, To leave this area without representation for those 2 years will put us at a severe disadvantage. We have not had representation out of this area since Paul Gumminger left the city council under his own term in 1997. He briefly filled in for Gary Yates in 2000. But we have significant traffic issues and safety issues along the 19th Avenue corridor, including a very dangerous situation at Norfolk and Fashion Island. We have tremendous biotech development going on in this area that impacts all of the residents in the area. And we have public safety issues related to Bridgepoint, as well as that being a whole area that brings in a lot of income to the city. We need a candidate with broad experience, and we need somebody that lives in District 4 and is familiar with the area around here. We have significant housing development going on in this area that is also impacting traffic issues and other public and other safety issues in the area, including pedestrian safety, vehicular safety, and so forth. So please consider appointing someone from District 4 and someone with strong experience in a whole variety of areas, from housing to traffic safety to traffic and transit issues, and also the growing biotech issues that are being located on the east of 101 area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next speaker is Tom Barrett.
Good evening. I'm a 35-year San Mateo resident and volunteer, and pretty much echo what the preceding speaker had to say. I'm also a great fan of district representation, both in practice and in theory. So hope that continues to be the guide for the way forward for San Mateo. Thank you for all you've done, and thank you for your efforts in this process too.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Next speaker is Rick Sakuda.
Good evening. Thank you all for your service. We appreciate the work that you've done for our city. I live by that intersection that was aforementioned, 19th Avenue in Norfolk. That is District 4. And the issues that we face, particularly with the traffic and the other issues mentioned, are of particular concern to the residents there. And I would again also like to advocate for including the district that the applicant resides in were they to apply for a city council position. Thank you for your time. Good evening.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Sandy Backman.
Yeah, hello. My name is Sandy Backman. I'm a resident of Harbor Town. In fact, I'm the HOA president, and I'm representing not only myself, but the board of directors for it. There's 7 of us, and definitely representing many residents in Harbor Town that I've spoken with. Our concern is exactly what everyone else has said as far as representation in District 4. I think it's critical that the candidate is asked which district do they reside in. And also, I think what's really important is whoever you choose, if you were to choose someone from District 4, I hope that it's somebody who's qualified and is well known in the community and isn't someone who's just come lately. We need someone who's been around and contributed to the city, and that's incredibly important. The other problem that we are facing here is the amount of commercial buildings, the way that's been changed. We're getting a lot of biotech, and finally, the Marine Lagoon needs a lot of work. There's a dredging issue. It's actually a hazard. And I'm hoping that someone who lives in District 4 is able to represent our concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And our last speaker is Michelle Brown. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank you all for your service and for allowing us to join you tonight to get our opinions expressed. I am also a resident of Harbortown. I am on the board of directors, and I've been a resident of San Mateo since 1991. I think it's really, really important. I agree with all of the people that have spoken so far. It's very important that we have district representation. And I really, really strongly stress that we have the district number or the district where the applicant lives on the application. It would make it much easier to determine whether that person would be qualified to represent us. District 4 has got lots of things going on, and we're looking to have you help us go through these challenges. And so I would encourage you to put the district number on the application and to choose someone from our district that can represent us well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That was the last speaker.
Okay, we're going to close the public comment and bring it back to the council. Thank all of you public commenters. Let me first ask if there are any council members that have any clarifying questions. No? If we don't.
A question for the Madam Clerk. Do you know if any of the incoming council members stated any of their preferences to you in one way or another?
No, sir. None of the incoming have indicated an interest in the process.
Okay. That's the only question I have.
Okay, then we'll have council discussion. We've got Deputy Mayor.
You already did put the district on the application. At least that's what I saw.
At council's direction, it's easy to do. I'm happy to do it.
I think it's on there, but it's tentative, isn't that correct? Yeah, it can be changed.
It's a draft right now.
Yeah. Councilmember Gotholz, any questions? Okay, then let's go on to comments. Councilmember Rodriguez, I see your microphone is on.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that the way we've done it in the past has been, I don't see anything wrong with it. I do think we should, if we're going to err on anything, we should err on the side of more information rather than not, just because I think when we have the new council, we just want to make sure that they have all the information to make a good decision. Of course, I think we always ask for their address. We need to make sure they live in the city. I think it makes sense to know where they live, and that should be a part of their application. So I don't have much more to say than that.
Anybody else?
I think in the era of district elections, which we have entered already, it makes sense for all of us who are vetting the candidates and all of the members of the public who are vetting the candidates and who will have an opinion to be able to use that as one factor that they're weighing. So I would favor including.
That's fine with me. I think you're looking for the preferred recruitment method, whether we would include an interview and a presentation, or an interview or a presentation, right?
Yes, I'm interested in getting feedback on the process you want created. We already talked about changes needed to the application or confirming those changes, if the timing works out as proposed in the agenda packet, and if any additional meetings are required. Okay. In addition to the one we've tentatively scheduled for December 12th.
Okay. Well, I've participated in an application process that was just a presentation. And then to replace Maureen Fresket, it was just a presentation as well, wasn't that?
It was, yeah, they submitted the application. You guys decided who to invite in. Then there was a presentation. You did allow PowerPoints if they wanted to do a PowerPoint. And then there was a 5-minute question period after their presentation for council.
I see. And we only invited certain people back to go through that process?
I believe we did for that one.
Okay.
The most recent one you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it wasn't everybody that applied. There was an initial vetting process, and how did that happen? By way
We
of
did
a
it
meeting?
like we do for the liaison list. I sent out, right now we're targeting December 7th to receive all the applications. They have to be due to me by 5 p.m. Then I piled them together and I sent them to each of the, in this case, it would be the 4 council members, and they would respond to me by a date certain with whom they're interested in, or if they want to do all, and then I would set up those interviews.
Oh, so.
I'm sorry, the presentations. For the
Presentation.
meeting. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so the presentation / questions just at the end might be the interview that we could take a look at.
Yeah, the thought last time was based on what they presented. You might have had some follow-up questions based on the actual presentation.
It wasn't pre-set questions.
You could do preset questions if you'd like.
Okay.
Well, I was just going to say, I thought that worked pretty well. And I also think that the reality of the situation is that anybody who's seriously interested in this position usually reaches out to the council members, or the council members will ask questions like on their own time. And so I don't really think that the interview part is that necessary. I think that the presentation part is like what it's like why you should consider me. And I mean, I don't remember the follow-up questions when the last time we were doing this. I don't even know if we asked any, but if council members have questions, they should be able to ask them, I think. But I think that the way we've done it the last couple times has worked as well as we could hope for, I think. So the presentation, not necessarily an interview.
Okay, thank you. So I've been through a few of these appointment processes, and I believe the way we've done it the last couple of times, which is the process you just described, the application, the meeting where they would present and then take some questions from the council, worked well. And I think it's a fair process, and the public gets to see how the council members perform in front of the public. And any questions that do come up at the time are revealing, I think. So I think it's a great process, the one we've had the last 2 times. I approve of that.
I'm just still a little unclear. Once the applications come in, and then they review them, and if it is that an applicant doesn't have 3 people that wants to see them back, that applicant would be eliminated?
I believe it was that process last time that they had to have 3 or more, 3 or more of interest.
And that's just by way of getting the applications and then conveying to the clerk that?
Yeah, they'd send it to me only, their responses. I tally them and then let them know the results, just like we do with the liaisons list.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been eliminating the way that we did it last time with the option for some follow-up questions. I think I kind of recall that we allowed for follow-up questions, but there weren't really too many. And then I remember a lot of public comment, though. That I do remember. So I'm fine with that.
Right, and I'm okay with that, too. I see 3.
Okay.
And Eric, you're in line with that also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right, so it looks like we have a process. We will begin the press release and mailings and social media push tomorrow. I have ads in the paper hopefully by Wednesday, so they're there for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And then we'll do ads beginning the following week also. And then the deadline to submit is Wednesday, December 7th, 5 p.m. to me in the clerk's office.
Right, and I just want to clarify, because we had so many comments, we're going to ask what district that the candidate resides in. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just real quick. Then there's, 5 days to get back to you? Because the hearing will be December 12th. And so when would you like the applications back from council?
I think I need a quick turnaround for that because we still have to agendize it and notify all the people involved and make sure that they're there, and we have a good schedule for it. So at that point in time, I think It should be by Friday, December 9th. No, yeah, it has to be Thursday, December 8th.
So 24-hour turnaround.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. You have direction you need? Great.
I do.
Thank you very much. Then we will conclude this matter and be back for the regular city council meeting at 7 p.m.